My male 32, sister-in-law 18, is living with my wife 27 and me while she attends university. She has a partial scholarship, and we let her live here so her family can save money. My wife was injured severely in a fall while hiking 2 years ago. Unfortunately, she's lost the use of her limbs. I love my wife very much, and I'll never divorce her. We have 2 very young kids that need us both. Also, my work provides us with medical insurance, which is very important. The crux of the matter comes down to intimacy. There are medical reasons. About 1 year after her accident, my wife was feeling very down. She was in a very dark place. She thought I would leave her and be with someone else. I didn't have anyone else on the side. I also had no time. I was working, taking care of 2 kids and assisting in her care. I literally had no time for anything like that. Anyway, it led to a fight that led to me admitting that I still had physical needs. Before you ask, we're both in therapy. This has been a situation that neither of us imagined when we met. Long story short, my wife finds me women that I sleep with and have zero emotional attachment to. I do not go looking for women, and I don't tell my wife what to do. When she wants, she makes the arrangements. It's not perfect and it's not what I want. I want my wife to be healthy again. However, it was a private decision that we made together. My sister-in-law moved in with us in September to start university. She helps out around the house and with the kids. In return, she lives in our basement suite, and I give her some spending money. She doesn't work any hours a day or anything. She might watch the kids while I make dinner, or she'll work in my wife's garden. One of the nights that I was going out, as arranged, my sister-in-law was supposed to watch the kids. Instead, she got one of her friends to watch them, and she followed me. She saw me meet a woman and go up to a hotel room. She took pictures. Rather than talk to her sister about it, she decided to wait until the family gathering, when we had the family over, to confront me with the evidence in front of everyone. I was angry. My wife was furious and embarrassed. My in-laws were getting ready to kick my butt until my wife spoke up and explained everything. Nobody is okay with it, but it wasn't what they thought. But now everyone knows something private about us that we didn't want to be publicized. I talked to my wife about it. Her sister's no longer welcome to live with us. She has to commute from her parents' home, which is almost 2 hours each way. Tough crap. She could have talked to us. She could have confronted me. She could have talked to her sister. Instead, she chose to be a hero and tell everyone something that was never meant to be public. She's begging us to come back. She now has no social life because she's traveling 3.5 to 4 hours a day. Her parents offered to rent the basement, but we do not want her here. Am I the idiot for kicking my sister-in-law out? Honest question, but what exactly did she think she would gain by publicly outing OP? At best, assuming wife was in the dark, she would have destroyed wife's marriage, crushed her self-esteem, ruined things for the kids, and done so publicly. There's no coming back from that. No matter how you look at it, the worst possible choice was the one she made. OP, you are not the idiot. She decided to put her own ego above thinking for even a single second, and this is the consequence. It sucks, but maybe she should have talked to her sister instead of broadcasting it as a first step. Exactly, and in no scenario would the sister have somewhere to stay afterward. It's not like the sister would be allowed to live there while OP and his wife are going through the divorce. She nuked her relationship with her sister, her cushy living, free living accommodations, where they paid for her help, for 5 minutes of spectacle that would have ruined family gatherings for her sister and nibblings for years to come. Main character syndrome, I suspect. Clearly, this chick thought it was going to be a Lifetime movie where they kick the husband out and everyone hugs her afterward. I mean, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but if the husband is basically working, covering everything, raising the kids, and helping a paraplegic spouse, he'd have to do some heinous crap for me to rat him out. The dude is a complete hero. And no crap, intimacy's gonna be awkward. Sister's idea of success would be to destroy her sister's entire life? no insurance, no support, etc. OP is not going far enough. The sister-in-law wanted to ruin his wife's entire life for 5 minutes of attention. My parents were well off and worked hard, but they were neglectful towards me. By the time I was 10, they decided I didn't need a nanny anymore, and then I didn't have parental figures. They spent all their time and energy at work and didn't have time for me. When I met my wife, she was a vibrant, intelligent, caring woman. She would give you the shirt off her back. We spent hours and hours together, talking about everything and anything, but it gradually slowed down. She would come home from work, crawl immediately into bed, and watch TikTok for the next 3 hours. She wouldn't engage, barely do anything, and only do chores sometimes. Ended up paying for someone to do her share. She would always say she was tired, and then stay up all night sometimes, or sleep for 18 hours. Seeing her glued to her phone or computer instead of engaging with me wasn't very good. I asked for a separation. It was tough because she cried and begged me not to, and I still loved her, but begging her was like a flashback to my parents. We both knew that separations basically always end in divorce. An old friend of my wife's recently reached out to me and cussed me out. She told me that my wife had cancer, and how dare I leave her during a tough time. I had no idea she had cancer. I asked my wife why she had hidden it from me, and she said that I was divorcing her, and she didn't want to guilt trip me into staying or be manipulative. I asked her how long she had known. She found out 3 weeks after we separated. I told her she should have at least told me. I had noticed her hair seemed thinner, and she just seemed frailer overall, but she brushed it off as stressed. Honestly, I'm really upset that she didn't tell me. Do I have a right to be? Am I the idiot? Edit. I didn't jump to divorce. I pushed her to go to the doctor, and the doctor said she was just lazy, not depressed. My wife also said she wasn't depressed. She just didn't want to do anything after a long day at work. I pushed her to find out why she was so tired. She got blood tests, which came back normal. Then she said taking time off work to go to the doctor was annoying, so she gave up. You're separated. You're heading to divorce. You couldn't handle her when all she did was sleep. Do you think you'd stick around with a cancer diagnosis? Are you kidding me? You are the idiot. You noticed her hair was thinner and she looked frail? Something was physically wrong with her, and her doctor was dismissive. You're her husband. You should have been her advocate when she was too weak to advocate for herself. You were so wrapped up in your emotions and childhood trauma that you neglected your wife. Yeah, it's pretty clear that if he loved her more, or at all, he would have made more effort. It wouldn't have taken much effort to clear the near zero amount he had put into his marriage so far. Me. She looked sick, but whatever. Me. Me. Her doctor said she was lazy when those symptoms were screaming depression and maybe something else. He sounds like a crap doctor. He needed to be her support and to get her to a doctor who would listen. He failed her. He doesn't get to continue to hear about her life if he's decided to cut her out and she doesn't want to share. OP, you left her. Anything happening in her life after you threw your marriage and your wife away because she was struggling is none of your business. She owes you nothing. My 27 female sister Rosie, 31, is dating this guy, Joe. They've been dating for about 5 years now. About 4 years ago, Rosie quit her tech job to stay home and care for his children. They do not have children together. During the global issue, Joe lost his job and had to get a much lower paying job. So he doesn't earn much now, and they struggle financially. Rosie tried getting a tech job again, but she wasn't hired for any of the jobs she's applied for. I suggested that she look for other jobs, even part-time ones, but she thinks it'll be a waste of her talents to work a random job when she has 2 university degrees. So although they've been struggling financially, she isn't looking for any job that isn't in tech. My problem with this entire thing is she keeps asking me for money to pay bills or make ends meet. It isn't a lot, probably 200 to 300 pounds a month, but sending her 200 to 300 pounds a month gets annoying when that could go into savings. I've been doing this for a year. Recently, I told her I need to save for a holiday that I'm taking with my friends this summer, so I can't afford to keep giving her monthly money. I have other savings for more important things I can't spend on a holiday, so I have to save for it from scratch. She asked if I'd actually rather see her struggle just so I could go on holiday. Honestly, this annoyed me. I told her she could just get a job if she wanted to, but her pickiness was the reason she's broke. Her stepkids are at their mom's house half the time, so there's no reason she can't work on those days. It doesn't have to be a tech job, but literally anything will pay her more than I give her a month if she just tries. She said she sacrificed her life for her stepkids, and now she's suffering financially. She can't get her old job back, and none of us, referring to me and our other siblings, whom she used to ask for money before me, want to help her get back on her feet. I said we've all helped her for years, and frankly, it wasn't us who asked her to stay home and raise those kids, so I'm not sure why she's making it our problem. I told her I could send her 300 pounds one more time when I got paid, but I wouldn't send anything again unless she was in dire need. She said a lot in anger that I'm not taking personally. She claims her main issue isn't even that I'm not sending her money anymore, but that I care more about taking a holiday than her well-being. I just don't think it's fair to ask me to put my life on hold just to send her money every month when she's perfectly able to get a job. Am I the idiot? She's too good to accept a job that's not in tech, but shaking you down to pay the bills is okay? And other family members too? That math doesn't make sense. You are not the idiot. While sending 200 to 300 a month seems small, it isn't. The grand total adds up quickly, and it's not until you look back that you realize you've given. It's not a loan if you're never getting it back. It's in the thousands that you could have been investing in your own future. I'm sorry you have such an ungrateful family. You are not financially responsible for your sister, her partner, or his children. You are 100% entitled to use your money however you want. She refuses to get a job that's not in tech because it's beneath her, yet she's completely comfortable demanding money from you and other family members. Your sister's entitled as heck. She needs to live within her means. End of story. OP's sister's not just an idiot. She's a major idiot. She quit her job to raise kids that weren't even hers for a man she's not even married to. She's using you. You're enabling her, and the arrangement is unsustainable. Stop giving her money. Stop reacting to her egregious claims. She doesn't care about what's fair to you. She cares about you paying for her lifestyle. Let her be an adult and manage her own finances. Start setting boundaries and stand up for yourself. My husband, 42, Daryl, and I, 42 female, have 3 kids, 18 male, a young teen female, and a tween female. We've been together since we were 15 and married since we were 18. I have never really had any contact with his father. He's always been distant with him and has made sure to keep me away as well. So I don't know much about his father, other than the few things he's brought up only once or twice. He has mentioned that he hates his father, that he was an idiot, and that he would mistreat him and his sister every day. His mother took her own life when he was 13, and he's been in therapy since. So his relationship with his father is practically non-existent. All he has as a real family is his younger sister. My contact with his father had only been before we got married. Daryl has always tried to keep me as far away from him as possible. I've only interacted with him when I first met his family and when he graduated high school. When we got married at 18, he cut all contact with his father and prohibited me and our kids from ever contacting him or inviting him to anything. That included our wedding, kids' special days, and so on. They have never met their grandpa, and it's always bothered them. They've all met my sister-in-law, 40, and love her as family. They frequently ask for her and are very close. She's been to every main event and family gathering. I'm not very close to her, but I've maintained a good relationship. I asked her about her parents and how it was growing up, and she tried to evade the question and even started to get nervous. She refused to answer my question and changed the subject. Daryl never really told me much about it either and has reacted the same way when our kids have asked him about his family. On Thanksgiving, we had a family dinner. My whole family attended. Of course, my sister-in-law attended. Everyone got wasted and had a good time. That was until my youngest asked her if Grandpa would attend this year. My other kids jumped on the bandwagon and bombarded her with questions about why he was never here. She got overwhelmed and stormed out. My husband scolded them and went to make sure his sister was okay. When we got home, he told them never to bring him up again, to erase even the thought that Grandpa doesn't exist. This lit a fire under all of them because to them, it seemed like a mystery, a hidden character who they were dying to meet. Since then, they've hounded me about it. Mom, I want to meet Grandpa. Mom, why isn't Grandpa around when yours is? Why don't you invite Grandpa over? All I could tell them that was Dad did not get along with Grandpa and that Grandpa was mean to him. It didn't seem to shake their resolve to meet him. I have brought it up to my husband. If his kids want to meet their grandpa, maybe they should get to meet their grandpa at least once. They deserve it. He didn't like the idea and told me to never bring up this subject again. He told me that they would never meet that man. He didn't care about how much our kids wanted to meet him. He again prohibited me from ever contacting his father, let alone letting his kids meet him. My kids continued to hound me and begged me to visit Grandpa. I felt bad for them and thought maybe they should meet him just once. They deserved at least one visit. I convinced myself that it was okay and eventually agreed to it. I told them that this would be our little secret and not to tell their father. Their faces lit up, and throughout the week, they would ask if I was taking them today or tomorrow. So I took them to see their grandpa this upcoming weekend. I told my husband that we would be going to the mall and that we'd be back late. When we got home, my husband greeted us and ordered takeout. His sister was there as well, already chowing down. My husband and I went to the kitchen to get something to drink while his sister talked to my kids. I overheard her ask them how their day was and what they did. My youngest excitedly responded, "We got to meet and have ice cream with Grandpa." My husband dropped his cup and it shattered on the floor. I told him I could explain, but he didn't give me the chance and told me not to say a word. He'll be going for a drive to think and will be back. I pleaded for him to hear me out, but he left. His sister was angry as well and followed, but before leaving, she asked me why, on God's green earth, would I take them to him. Now my kids are asking what happened, and I'm unsure what to say. So, am I the idiot for taking my kids to go meet my husband's toxic father? What in the heck is wrong with you? You are the idiot. How dare you? Your husband suffered mistreatment at the hands of this man daily, and you knew that, but decided to walk your children into the hands of a known idiot anyway, with no regard for him at all. I cannot even imagine what he's going through mentally right now. I feel horrible for him. It's like being hurt all over again. Totally. OP should have parented properly and told the children the vague truth to stop their inquiries. And if they continue to ask, reprimand them until your husband and their aunt are ready to explain the situation. How hard is it to say, Grandpa is a bad man who hurts people, and we don't associate with people who hurt people. But this? It's disrespectful to everyone possible. Plus, her two oldest are tweens. She could have easily explained the situation to them, and they would have understood and stopped asking. You are the idiot, and what a terrible partner you are. Awful. Not only should he divorce you, I hope he gets custody.